G'day there. You're in a treat tonight. Me old radio has been powering up every now and again and tuning in to old radio shows from days of yore. That's right, the early 2000s. The Brian Wilshire Show on Radio 2GB 873 has been coming in loud and clear these last couple of nights, so hopefully we'll be able to hear it again. Yep, I think we're getting something.
Here on 2GB.
And now, Brian Wilshire, thanks to Hatchback World, the gentleman of the auto industry.
A little more hanky-panky on a Friday night, and now it's time for that familiar music. Concentrated nostalgia. Yes, it's Bruce Leonard from Screen Sound Australia. He's here with a time machine to take us back to the golden years of Australian radio. G'day, Bruce.
Hello, Brian.
And welcome back.
Thank you very much.
How's nostalgia this week?
But somebody said to me the other day, gee, it's a long time since you played anything from Hop Harrigan during Brian's program. So I thought we'd start our program tonight by playing 2 consecutive episodes of Hop Harrigan that were recently found here in a private collection. Now, there aren't too many episodes of Hop Harrigan that have survived today, but we found about 20 consecutive episodes, which was a real find for an archivist.
You hit the mother load.
And they're going into the Screen Sound Australia radio collection. So what I've done is I've picked the 2 most exciting episodes.
Are these 2 not yet for sale?
Oh, no,
Right.
not at all. No, this is the only place that you'll hear these 2 episodes.
And probably haven't been played for how many years?
Well, it's episode 247, so it must have been about 1956. So it's about 48 years since
Hop
these
was in
have
his
been
prime
played.
then, yes.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
But Hop Harrigan, of course, had been an American radio serial in the late 1940s. It had been a comic strip, which was drawn by John Bloomer, and a motion picture serial produced by Columbia Pictures in 1946. When the Australian version began here in 1954. Now, it was produced by Artranza and was one of the few children's adventure serials to survive the onslaught of television in 1956. Now, Hop Harrigan was first played by Bruce Stewart, but in the later episodes, Stuart Ginn took over the title role, but it's Bruce Stewart we're going to hear as Hop Harrigan today.
Don't you visualise Rod Taylor when you think of Hop Harrigan? You see him as Rod. I see him as Rod Taylor.
I've never thought about that, but I can understand Rod Taylor at that age in 1954 playing, absolutely. He would have made a wonderful Hop Harrigan. Johnny Hewitt, of course, played Hop's partner and chief mechanic, Tank Tinker, throughout the entire run of the serial. Isn't that a wonderful name for...
The geriatric tractor mechanic from Trailer Springs.
But he was a two-fisted companion as well. He was always there to back Hop up in any problems he got into. And Marcia Hathaway was Hop's female companion, Gail Nolan. Now, some of our listeners may recall that Marcia Hathaway played the part of Jane in Tarzan, but she was also the young actress who was so tragically taken by a shark in Sydney Harbour in the early 1960s.
Yes. Oh, dear.
Now, the scripts for the Australian version of Hop Harrigan were adapted by Brian Wright from the American originals, but there all similarity ended. The Australian version was a fast-paced action serial with energetic delivery of dialogue, stirring music and skillful use of sound effects, all of which were missing from the American original. The American original was just so staid, and they used to stop in the middle of it, and they would run a commercial for their sponsor, who were Lockheed Constellation. The Constellation was just a new aircraft at that time. And
But Hop used to fly a Catalina, didn't he? Was that from Lockheed?
Yes, that's right.
What was it Lockheed?
I don't know whether... No, the Catalinas weren't from Lockheed. No.
Right.
But the Lockheed actually sponsored it in the States.
I see.
But we didn't have any commercials in the middle here. We heard the complete episode. And so without any further ado, let's go back to 1956 for episode 247 of The Air Adventures of Hop Harrigan.
Control to CX4. Control to CX4. All clear. All clear.
CX4 to control. CX4 to control. Stand by. This is Hop Harrigan coming in.
The Air Adventures of Hop Harrigan. Although they found the Crimson Eye and returned it to the Indian diplomat, Mr. Ram, the excitement was far from over for Hop and Tank. The revolutionary forces in the Indian state of Nagar had almost overrun the country, and it was essential that the ruby be returned to India before the government finally fell, a responsibility that fell on Hop. With the Indian delegation aboard, he set off in a giant Air Force transport to fly almost halfway round the world in a desperate effort to deliver the Crimson Eye on time. All went well on the first long jump until the plane was flying in the rarefied upper air above the long Aleutian chain of islands which stretched from North America to Siberia. The occupants of the plane were enjoying the comfortable pressurized conditions when suddenly the Astrodome, a plexiglass bubble in the roof of the cockpit, cracked and blew out. With a tremendous hiss, the pressure inside the plane is sucked out, and the bitterly cold, deadly air of the stratosphere rushes in. Almost at once, Hop, Tank, and Gale begin to gasp for the lack of oxygen, and the plane wobbles drunkenly as Hop fights to clear his brain.
Brace yourself. We're going down.
Yeah, well, as quick as you can, Hop. I'm choking. Everything's
Lean forward. Put your head between your knees.
I can't.
Tank, sort out the altitude.
Oh, it's hard to see the altimeter.
Step out of it, man. We're going to get this tight down.
We're at 27,000. 26. 25.
Let me keep my head clear. Must make 12,000 at least.
22. 20. Hop, I can't see it properly.
Oh, for Pete's sake. Don't pass down on the tank.
I'll try. 19.
Just hang on. Force yourself. Stay conscious.
I'm doing that.
Another 5,000. To the right.
We're this bad down here.
Altitude.
15,000. Hop, I can see a bit better now. The head's not swinging so much.
Keep concentrating.
14. 13,500.
Nearly there now. We'll make it.
12,000.
Now, this'll do it. Grab the control column, will you? Help me ease her out of the dive.
We don't rip the wings off. It's a pretty steep dive, this.
Easy now. Easy. Ease her back slowly.
Yeah, we're down to 10,000, Hop. Right in the middle of the soup.
Keep your eyes on the artificial horizon. Anyway, you'll know how we're going.
Still going down.
Back on the stick. A bit more.
Yeah, this is a big kite, this. Not made for diving.
Nearly level. Can you feel it?
Yes, but we're down to 8.
We'll pull her out of it right now. Come on. All the way.
Those wings, Hop. They won't take it.
Stick neutral.
Roger.
There. All right.
Oh, gosh, don't you throw this kite around like a fighter again, Hop. She's an 80-passenger transport.
I had to put her through the hoops. It was the only way to save our lives.
I suppose it was, but it scared the daylights out of me.
Out of everyone, I should think. Are you all right, Gale? Gale?
Oh, kid, she's out to it.
There's some ammonia in the first aid kit. You better get it and bring her around.
Mr. Ram and his pals will probably be in the same boat.
Oh, it's all right, Tank. I think she's coming out of it.
Take it easy, Gale. You're all right.
Oh, what happened?
Passed out, Gale. You feeling better now?
Yes, but the Astrodome, it blew out.
That's right. We couldn't breathe.
But we're right now. Hop brought us down to 8,000 feet. The air's good here.
Oh, what a horrible feeling.
Just sit quietly there for a few moments and you'll feel better.
Mr. Harrigan! Mr. Harrigan!
Hello, it's on.
Come in, Mr. Ram.
What is happening, Mr. Harrigan? Are we going to crash?
Of course we aren't. You can keep your shirt on.
But the aeroplane went straight down. Some of my friends lost consciousness.
So did I, Mr. Ram.
I don't understand. Why did you do this, Mr. Harrigan?
We had a slight accident.
An accident?
Yeah, but everything's under control now.
Are you sure?
Quite sure. There's nothing to worry about.
You'd better sit down, Mr. Ram. You're not looking very well.
Thank you, Miss Nolan. It was rather nerve-wracking.
What about the other blokes? They all right now?
Some of them feel quite ill, Mr. Tinker. And I think they are all making their peace with Allah.
Oh, I'll go back and tell them everything's all right.
Thank you, Miss Nolan. You will calm them down more easily than I could.
You'd better take the first aid kit with you, Gale. Some of them may need it.
Oh, good idea. I'll do that.
Tank can give you a hand if you need any help.
I'll be all right. I'm quite over that cigarette now.
It's most unfortunate that you should have an accident so early in the trip, Mr. Harrigan.
Yes, it is, rather.
Hey, well, what are we going to do about this hole, Hop? The wind's blowing in like fury. There just isn't any Astrodome there anymore.
I'll see if you can find something to plug it. We'll have it sealed off when we land at Tokyo.
Something to cover it. Yeah, one of the seat cushions should do the job all right.
Anything you like, but get the hole plugged.
Mr. Harrigan,
Yes, Mr. Ram.
will you tell me truthfully, is the flight progressing well?
Actually, we're going very well. We're 2 hours ahead of my original schedule.
But do you think we shall reach Tokyo safely?
There's no reason why we shouldn't. Well, of course, accidents sometimes do happen.
Then you are quite certain that this mishap was an accident?
Well, of course it was. Yeah, what are you driving at, Mr. Ram?
Oh, nothing. Please forget what I have said. Perhaps it would be better now for me to return to my companions.
You're perfectly welcome to stay here if you like.
Thank you. I shall return later if I may.
Anytime.
And I trust there will be no more accidents.
Hey, what's got into him?
Don't know. Anyone would think there was something sinister going on. Well, how are you going up there? Any close off the hole?
Yeah, I'm fitting the cushion in now. Go on, get in there. Yeah, that should do it. How long it'll last, though?
As long as it stays there until we reach Tokyo, it'll be right.
Yeah, it might do that with a bit of luck. You know, old Ram was really worried about this, wasn't he?
Oh, he's got some sort of a bee in his bonnet, apparently.
I suppose it was an accident, Hop.
Well, of course it was. There's been at least one of us in this cabin ever since we took off.
Yeah, that's right. It's funny that Ram should get so jumpy all of a sudden, though.
He's jumpy anyway. The situation in Nagar is getting him really het up.
Still, there's no reason for him to be worried here. He's on his way home and the plane's full of his pals. You'd think he'd settle down and relax a bit.
Well, I don't know the whys and wherefores, Tank, but I'm not going to worry my head about it now.
Everything's all right back there, Hop.
Oh, thanks, Gail. No damage done?
They're a bit nervous, that's all. I told them to go to sleep and forget about it. What would you like me to do now, Hop? Fix up something for you to eat?
No, thanks, Gail. I'm not hungry.
Then I'll get something for you, Tank.
No, I don't feel like eating.
Tank, you're sick.
Well, if we had a blackboard, we could chalk this up. I've never known him refuse food in his life before.
You can laugh as much as you like, but there's something wrong here, and it's getting me down.
What do you mean, Tank?
I don't know what I mean, Gail. I wish I did. There's something haywire aboard this plane, and I've got a feeling it's going to give us quite a few more headaches before we're through. I'm not looking forward to the rest of the trip one little bit.
Boeing NX 97542 from Paramashiro Radio. You have been located 10 miles east of base. Weather south to Japanese mainland, generally overcast to 15,000 feet. Local disturbances sweeping in from northwest. Moderate turbulence. In case of emergency landing, check airfield selected and contact as soon as possible, due to likelihood of local substandard conditions. Over.
Oh, we had better reports than that.
Paramashiro from Boeing. Information received. We'll continue on course to Japan, holding at 8,000 feet. Estimated time of arrival, Tokyo, 0100 hours. Over.
Roger. We'll notify Tokyo Control immediately. Over.
That is all. Going out.
Paramashiro out.
What does all that mean, Hop?
Simply that the weather's not too good, Gail. Likely to get worse.
Will we be able to reach Tokyo?
I think so. Maybe a bit of a squeeze, but we'll do it.
If only we still had that Astrodome. We could go upstairs and fly right over the soup then.
Only we had a lot of things. Now stop worrying about it. We've flown through bad weather before without any...
Hey, Hop, that's number 4 engine. It's playing up.
Great Scott.
Oh, what's the matter?
I don't know. Tank, it isn't getting any petrol. The starboard main tank is empty.
Holy mackerel.
Cut in the auxiliary.
Roger.
Oh, that's better.
I'm sorry, Hop. I should have been watching that.
We're carrying plenty of petrol, aren't we?
A ton of it, Gail. There's a big reserve in the spare tanks down on the lower deck, but it can't be coming through properly.
I better go down and check the connections. Might be something blocked up.
Yes, do that. And when you've got it clear, feed it straight into the main tank.
Roger. I hope there aren't any gremlins mucking about down there, that's all.
Tired, Hop?
Yes, I am a bit more stiff than anything. Oh, I'll be glad when we can put down in Tokyo, stretch our legs. Are you standing up to it?
Oh, I'm quite all right. I haven't done anything to make me tired.
No, but we've been a long time in the air. It's been pretty exhausting for everyone. Oh, by the way, how was everything in the cabin last time you looked in?
Everybody was sleeping peacefully. And Hop, Mr. Ram snores.
Oh, no.
Yes, he's polishing dignity regardless.
Oh, you better not ever tell him that. You'll ruin our diplomatic relations with India.
Oh, what's that?
It's all right. The only intercommunication phone. Just a Tank ringing from the lower deck. Hello, Tank. What's the matter?
Just about everything that could be.
What do you mean?
We're finished, Hop. We might as well cash in our chips now.
What the blazes are you talking about?
The reserve tank's down here. Somebody opened all the emergency drain cocks, and there's about enough gas left to fill a cigarette lighter.
Good grief.
What is it, Hop?
Our reserve tanks. Somebody's let out all the petrol. Without that juice, we'll never reach Tokyo.
On 2GB, we're in the middle of an episode of the Air Adventures of Hop Harrigan, between episode number 247, actually, and number 248, Bruce.
That's right.
Yeah. We'll check the weather outlook for those who would like to know what the next few days have in store. Tomorrow in Sydney, dry but partly cloudy. Moderate south to southeasterly winds, fresh at times near the coast, a maximum of 21 degrees in all suburbs. Pretty cool in the west, down to 7 degrees at Liverpool, Penrith and Richmond, and a minimum of 11 degrees in the city. 16 in town at present, 1 below average. Now it'll be mild to warm on Sunday with a chance of light showers, east to northeasterly winds, and a top of around 23 to 25. Again, an overnight minimum between 7 and 11. On Monday, it'll be mild to warm with a few showers, and again northeasterly winds on Tuesday, but mostly dry Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Well, that's what I call a cliffhanger. About enough fuel to to fill a cigarette lighter.
Yep.
And you
a Zippo, of course.
And you're up there in a Boeing transport plane, miles from any airport. So
and they did run on petrol in those days, not kerosene, jet fuel. Yeah.
No, this was before the jets. That's right. Yes, Boeing transport. This was.
Plane sounded so good then, didn't it?
I'll say yes. Yes, they used to hum. So, without any further ado, let's find out what happens in the next episode of the Air Adventures of Hop Harrigan.
Roaring high over the cold waters of the North Pacific in their giant transport plane, Hop and Tank raced desperately against time. They soared over the island of Paramashiro well ahead of schedule and looked forward to reaching Tokyo, their first refueling point, within 4 hours. But suddenly the fuel supply to one of the engines cut out. Hop switched at once to the auxiliary and sent Tank down to the lower deck to check the connections on the reserve supply. Then, only a few moments later, Tank gave him some startling news over the intercom phone. The emergency drain cocks of the reserve tanks had been opened, and the tanks were practically empty. Still over the intercom, Hop asked Tank the all-important question.
Tank, is there enough petrol left to get us to Tokyo?
Nowhere near it. I've closed off the drain cocks to save what I can, but the tanks are down near empty.
That makes everything fine and dandy. Okay, Tank. You better get back up here.
How bad is it, Hop? You will be able to reach Tokyo?
Not a hope of it, Gail. Juice has been pouring out for some time.
Then what will you do?
There's only one thing I can do. I have to turn back to Paramashiro.
I'm going back there?
I know that, but nothing else for it. Paramashiro Radio from Boeing NX 97542. Paramashiro Radio from Boeing NX 97542. Come in, please. Come in, please. Over.
Boeing NX 97542 from Paramashiro Radio. Receiving you very faintly. Weather is bad here. Please transmit slowly. Go ahead. Over.
This is Hop Harrigan here, Paramashiro. Fuel supplies running low. Cannot reach planned destination. If necessary, we'll return to you, but would prefer alternative base en route to Japan. Please supply information. Over.
Boeing from Paramashiro. Weather has closed in here. Conditions substandard. Aerodrome closed down at least until morning. Over.
Received that. Have to try an auxiliary field. Where will we go? Over.
Only 2 between here and Tokyo. Weather also closing in on them, but you may be able to get in. Hold course established on flight and Hokkaido. Then contact Air Force Base Radio at Otaru. Over.
Air Force Base at Otaru. I've got that. Anywhere else, Paramashiro? Over.
Second alternative, Aomori on the main island of Honshu. Again, contact Air Force Base Radio. Over.
Aomori on Honshu. Roger. Can you contact Otaru for us and tell them to expect us?
Roger. What is your estimated time of arrival? Over.
Hold on a minute. Gail, hand me that map, will you?
What's the map? Oh, here you are.
Thanks. Hello, Paramashiro. ETA Otaru, 2300 hours. Over.
2300 hours. We'll start with information for you. Anything else you want?
That's all for now, thanks. Going out.
Good luck, Harrigan. Paramashiro out.
Where does all that leave us?
Still on our way. But whatever happens, we're going to lose time.
Will you be able to make those other places you mentioned?
We'll have to make them, Gail. It'll be a bit of a race for the weather, though.
Yes, it looks as if it's closing in out there. That must be Tank again.
Yes, Tank.
I'm finished down here now, Hop. You can start up that donk whenever you like.
Good. Is there any petrol left at all?
Oh, a bit, about a quarter of the whole supply, I'd say.
Oh, well, that's better than nothing, I suppose. Well, if you're finished down there, you can come up now, Tank.
Right.
Oh, Tank?
Yeah?
As you come through the cabin, tell Mr. Ram I'd like to see him, would you?
You bet I will. I've been thinking of having a few words with him myself. I'll see you in a jiff.
Well, things aren't quite so bad. The auxiliaries are full, and there's still some juice left in the port main tank.
Will that be enough for us?
Well, it'll have to be, Gail. It's all we've got. Just a sec while I cut in this engine. There we are.
You're going to ask Mr. Ram about this, are you?
Yes, he might have some ideas about the saboteur.
No, I doubt that.
Well, we've got to find out who it is, Gail. Might try something more.
Even so, I don't think Mr. Ram will be able to help.
Quiet. They're coming now. Oh, Tank, close that bulkhead door, will you?
Righto. I understand you wish to speak to me, Mr. Harrigan.
Yes, I do. We've had a little trouble, Mr. Ram.
A little, he says.
What is it? Please tell me what is happening, Mr. Harrigan.
I don't know well, but first I want you to tell me something. Have you been in the main cabin all evening?
Yes, of course. Except for the few moments I was up here talking to you. Where else would I go?
It's a big plane, Mr. Ram. There's plenty of room to walk about in. Did you notice anybody else moving around?
Well, yes, the members of my delegation, some of them have changed their seats once or twice.
Any of them do that in the last hour or so?
I do not think so, Mr. Tinker. As you saw yourself just now, they are all asleep. But why do you ask this question?
Were you asleep too, Mr. Ram?
Yes, Mr. Tinker woke me to bring me up here.
You know that small flight of stairs that leads to the lower deck?
I know it, yes.
You haven't at any stage seen one of the men go down there?
Oh, not since we left the United States. But, Mr. Harrigan, why do you question me like this? I must insist that you tell me what has happened.
You may have noticed, Mr. Ram, that we're carrying a large reserve supply of fuel on the lower deck.
In those big tanks? Yes, I saw those when we came aboard. What about them?
Well, you might as well get it straight, Mr. Ram. One of your blokes opened up the drain cocks and let most of the petrol out.
What do you say?
It was sabotage.
Could it not have been an accident?
Drain cocks don't fly open by accident, Mr. Ram.
So Bharat is still with us.
Bharat? Well, don't be silly. He's in the jug back in New City.
He may be there himself, Mr. Tinker, but his influence is still with us. If what you say is true, there is one of his associates aboard. Another member of the Revolutionary Party who is trying to prevent my delivering the Crimsonite to Naga.
Have you any idea who it might be?
None at all, my friend. You must believe me. If I knew which of my men did this, I would kill him myself.
Yes, I think you would, Mr. Ram. But under the circumstances, it'd be a good idea if you left the Crimson Eye here with us. It'll be safe.
No, that I will not do.
Mr. Ram, you must be sensible about this.
Miss Nolan, the ruby is in this briefcase, and the case is locked to my wrist. I have sworn that it will not leave my person until I deliver it to the government in Naga. If anyone wishes to steal it, he will have to kill me first.
All right, then. But at least stay up here yourself. Don't give this man the chance to kill you.
That would be an admission of cowardice. And it will expose you to personal danger. No, I shall return to my companions.
You needn't worry about us, Mr. Ram. We can look after ourselves.
My mind is made up on this matter. I am most grateful to you for flying me to India, but the ruby must remain in my responsibility.
Very well, sir. Have it your own way. But don't discuss this with anyone back there, will you?
My goodness, no. We mustn't let this man know his plan is working.
Do you mean by this that we will be unable to complete the flight?
Well, it may not be quite as bad as that, but we'll have to land short of Tokyo.
Please, Mr. Harrigan, do everything you can. We must reach Nagar in time.
You needn't worry about that. Before we left the States, I promised you that we'd finish this trip on the dot, even if it meant busting ourselves and the plane in the attempt. That still holds good.
Thank you. I should like you to know that I have confidence in you. Now I shall return to the others.
You'll be very careful back there, won't you, Mr. Ram?
Rest assured, Miss Nolan. I have every intention of completing this flight alive.
Well, yeah? You reckon we'd get through even if we have to bust the plane and ourselves doing it? Well, now Ram's gone. Do you still stick by that?
I've given him my word, haven't I?
Yes, I know, but... Well, if you ask me, I don't reckon we've got much chance of getting out of this spot.
My promise to Ram covered the whole trip, and I'll stick by it. But the spot we're in at the moment is a different matter. We're going to need a lot of luck to help us land the plane without a cracker. Otaru Radio from Boeing NX97542. Otaru Radio from Boeing NX97542. Come in, please. Come in, please. Over. Our fuel supply is running low. Must land soon. What are weather conditions like at your drome? Over.
Conditions substandard. This field closed for the time being. Advise you to continue to Amori. On last advice, they still had a 500 feet ceiling there. Over.
How long will that last? Over.
Not too long. Weather's closing in there, too. You'll have to hurry if you want to make it. Over.
Any other fields open? Over.
None between here and Tokyo. Weather conditions bad over entire coastal area. Sorry we can't help you. Over.
We're sorry, too. Please contact our Mori and tell them we're on our way. ETA, 2400 hours. Over.
Wilco. Good luck, Boeing. Otaru, over and out.
Thanks, Otaru. Boeing out. Well, it isn't. With this weather closing in, the Mori has any chance.
There's not even the faintest hope of our reaching Tokyo, I suppose.
Not a hope in the world, Gail. We just haven't got the fuel to do it. Everything depends now on our Mori and the weather. What do you say, Tank? Do you reckon we're close enough?
Well, according to my calculations, we are. The Mori should be down there somewhere under all that soup.
With a patch of clear air for us to land in if we're lucky. Well, keep your fingers crossed. Here we go. Our Mori Radio from Boeing NX97542. Our Mori Radio from Boeing NX97542. Come in, please. Come in, please. Over.
Boeing NX97542. Our Mori Radio. Have received message about you from Otaru. Over.
Our situation's even worse now, our Mori. Petrol supply is running very low. Must land soon. Can we come in there? Over.
Sorry, Boeing. Conditions here like everywhere else. Dense fog right down to runways. Cannot clear the land.
We must land. We haven't enough fuel to keep flying.
I know that. I'm very sorry we can't help you. We have no ground control approach system here. Field surrounded by mountains on all sides. In these conditions, you couldn't possibly get in.
So what are we going to do?
What can we do, Gail? Except fly on through this soup until our juice runs out. And then, bingo!
Well, there we are, The Air Adventures of Hop Harrigan. That's one of the best examples of the children's adventure serials that were broadcast on Australian radio back in the 1950s. And right here on 2GB, Monday to Thursday, every night at 6:30.
Now you tell me it was a children's. I thought I was getting special dispensation being able to listen to one of Dad's serials.
Well,
now
no,
you tell
no, not at all. Dad used to listen as well, I imagine, yeah, because it was so good. And it was real theatre of the mind. Few people today realise just how good the serials that were produced back in the 30s, 40s and 50s right here in Australia were, compared with the serials at that time that were being produced in the rest of the world. It was just a tremendous time, and it was so different from television. I think the reason I loved radio so much is with television, we all see the same picture and we all hear the same sound coming out of the TV set. So there's no room for the imagination. But with radio, it was different. We all heard the same sound as we did tonight, but everyone out there listening tonight had a different picture in their mind as to what the people looked like and where the action was taking place. And that's why radio was so powerful in its day.
And the inside of one of those planes, unless you'd been there, you really didn't know what it looked like.
Exactly. And it didn't matter. You could conjure up in your mind what you thought it looked like.
This is 2GB, and it's 17.5 to 11, and it's still Friday.
Thanks for watching. I mean, listening.